This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I'm branded alongside Danielle, Danaya, Azure, and I am in the presence of royalty. I must say, throughout my lifetime, I've had many of dances that I've gone to, places that I've been to, and different things like that. And I told myself if I was doing anything radio related, not just reaching out to the legendary Whispers is a priority, but just the fact that I have you guys here, I want to start off by saying thank you just for the opportunity that you guys have given a lot of other people with your God-given talent, but also the memories that you guys have laced us all with your music, your steps, your videos, and just classic content that will never ever go away. And I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
We're right back at you, man. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, Danielle and I want to start off by just talking about the legacy, really, before we get into a lot of new stuff. I know something's coming out on the 29th of this month that we definitely need to discuss and talk about as well. But the legacy of the Whispers, when you look at it, and I literally was looking at a bunch of videos, and literally I am, still in awe. And I was telling my man, we the way I was dressing and stepping back in the day would keep on loving you. I mean, everybody got to get motivated. I was looking through the comments, and I was like, every time I hear this song, I get goosebumps. Or every time I hear this song, it puts me in a good place. Or every time I hear this song, it gives me confidence to go talk to the ladies or whatever it is that they have. So, I'll start. Anybody can take this, but when you look back and you look at the legacy that you guys are continuing to build, it's a beautiful thing when you can be able to get laced up with a lot of memories that people are talking about, right?
Oh, no question. Well, the first thing, man, is that we always say this: we never dreamed that we would be here like 56 years later. We started out in Watts, California in the projects. As you say, everybody wanted to be like the Temptations. We were a stand-up vocal group, no different than anyone else. But man, to say 56 years later, we'd still be here singing. God has blessed us to be able to still sing today. That is a blessing, man. We just don't take it for granted. We just feel like we're the most blessed guys. And we joke all the time. We say, we can't believe somebody paid us to do this, Hey. But,
Great. Anybody else want to add on?
No, I mean, it's anytime you do anything in your life for 50 plus years, it's saying something in itself. I mean, I didn't have marriages last that long, so
got that right.
I've been married to these guys. This is the longest marriage I've ever had. It's the Whisper. So, just to be able to, and to be honest with you, just to be healthy and work at the same level. I'm 74. The twins don't mind. They're 78 years old. To be able to work on the level that we work on and be healthy enough to do it. I mean, of course, we've all gone through some health, crisis at times, but we've come through it, and we've come through it stronger. So to be able to still be able to perform on a level that we can make our audience satisfied, and they still sticking by us, man, that's a blessing. I don't know how you can look at it.
Absolutely. Well, let me add on too. You guys, first of all, you thanking us, but we need to be thanking you guys for letting us be on your platform to talk. We're going to talk about it. Well, we can actually get into it now because you guys are allowing us to say we're redoing our catalog, and there's a reason why we're doing that. And without you guys, we would be able to tell the public the importance of that. I mean, the reason why we have to even go back and do our platform now is because had we been treated fairly in the past, we would have had this problem. But that just wasn't the case. But God is good. We outlived him. We lived long enough to say, you know what? Key word is ownership. That's what this is really all about. We've lived long enough to go in and redo our catalog. And this time, we reap the benefits like all these other companies have been reaping the benefits. It's time for the Whispers now. And not just the Whispers, but OJ's, Frankie, all from that whole community. Ain't none of us been treated right. I'll just say it straight because that's just the truth. But we're here long enough now. We're going to redo our catalog. And young people, you don't have to go through what we went through. You need to learn from us. And that way, the key word you need to understand, go look it up. Ownership. Excuse my French, own your own shit and you'll be fine.
That's right. And since you brought it up, let's go there then, because to me, I look at it like this. When I think about the legacy that you guys have, and you mentioned Frankie, you mentioned OJ's, you mentioned a lot of people that was in your class. I look at music as a fraternity in a sense. Like, you know, I never understood from a media guys, from a perspective like this, that you would have to fight so hard to earn a penny.
Well, you know what? Scotty puts it one way. Let's be fair. Each generation gets brought to it more luxuries. Let's put it like this. Back in the 60s and the 70s and even before us, you couldn't get exposure had you not signed with a record company. So
right.
You either had to go with, do I want the exposure to get out there so I one day will have the power to do what I want to do? It started like that. So when you talk about Frankie, the Whispers, the OJs, before them, it was Little Richard, it was James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these record companies put records out. And because you didn't have the power to get that exposure, you had to take what you could get to get the exposure. And as time went on, we finally got up to the area where Ray Charles was able to own all of his masters.
Right.
And I mean, that was in the 60s, believe it or not. But it took years beyond that to where, if you remember, Prince had the word slave written on his jaw because he fell out with Warner Brothers about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all we're really talking about is that when you put out a product, from a fair standpoint, who benefits from it? What do I get out of this?
Right.
Well, whoever owns it, that's who determines what you get out of it. So we say to all the young people, you know, I mean, we don't have to tell Beyonce and Jay-Z, they've done it. They've done it. The rappers,
right.
Thank God, I love what they were tough. They were hard. They were saying, we're not going to let you take our shit or our stuff. Excuse me for saying that.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
But they said, you know, before we let you do that, we'll sell it out of the trunk of our car, man. That's what they did. And had we been a generation earlier brave enough to do that, we didn't have the wherewithal. There wasn't no record companies around that we could own.
Right.
You know, so you were, whether you liked it or not, you had to play by their rules. Well, thank God we've lived long enough. I still sing in the same key today that I sang in when I was 19 years old. That tells me that the good Lord was looking out for us.
Amen.
So then we go in today and re-record our stuff. And when you see on their revised version, that's by us. And as Scotty put it, we now own it. It's ours.
Right.
To determine how it's going to be marketed, who's going to have the last say of who hears it, what platform is it going to. That's in our decision now. Thank God.
So
And that's what it's about.
When people like Warner Brothers, any corporation, black corporation, white, whatever color you want to call it, when they go and decide they want to use And the Beat Goes On, now you have to come to us.
That's
Before
right.
it was going to somebody else, you know, and we need, just be fair. Now it goes to us. So when you see Whisper Revised, that means that's our version. So we getting a piece of it now. Before, that just wasn't the case.
And the other side of that is, look, we're not telling new artists to bite your nose off to spite your face.
Absolutely.
That's not
Right.
at all. You have to wind up having some strength to wind up doing what we're doing. But like Taylor Swift, for example, new artist, she waited until she became one of the biggest female white artists on the planet. And then she said, okay, now I can go back and record everything that I've done so far, and I'll reap the benefit of it. Now, if she didn't take that deal, she would never be Taylor Swift.
Absolutely.
She'd be swiftly out the business.
Right.
So she waited until she got the strength in order to do it. All we're saying is that don't bite your nose off to spite your face. Take that deal, and if you get to be a Taylor Swift or Bruno Mars, then go back in there and record your stuff so that you can 100% benefit from it.
Or the Whispers.
Yeah.
And you know what this all boils down to is one word, man: education. You know, when you sign a contract, know what it is that you're really signing. You know, when somebody says royalty rate, what is the royalty rate? How much of that do I get? Who's the publisher? Am I the publisher? Can I get it? Know all of that information. And the more you know, the more you have something to fight with.
Right.
And that's why, education means we say to all young acts, when you're young, you're right, you don't have no clout. You got to do what they tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do get the clout, depending on how educated you are, now you can dictate the terms. That's all we're really saying.
And Walter, I look at it like this. And Danielle, before you throw a question out there, let me say this. I feel like still the music industry, and it seems like you can go through every decade going backwards. There's always been a problem with how the money was dispersed amongst the artists versus labels. You can go back to you guys, you can go back before you guys, you can go back after. I heard TLC. Ashanti did exactly what Taylor Swift did, but
Absolutely.
her producers and everybody else was upset that she did what she did, but she had every legal right to do it.
Absolutely.
I always look at it in a fraternity as such, where I'm not saying it has to be union, but there should be benefits. There should be something that should last longer. There should be something that an artist does, because just like you, there's others that have, cried over these records, spilled a lot of effort over it, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of joy, everything else that you could think of mixed in, that it should be shared equally or accordingly to such. I get it. It's a business, and when you sign, it's great. It should be a moving moment. And there has been moments where you hear all the good things that come with it, but also there has to be some kind of solidarity amongst the group, like a union, so people can be able to have pensions or something like that.
That's exactly
that
right.
was my opinion when it comes to that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, what you're really talking about, man, is having a system that protects everyone fairly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what you're saying. And I understand the business. When you record a record, little do you know that 100 years from now, your great-grandchildren will be the beneficiaries of what you did 100 years ago. Well, what you're saying to yourself, if that's the case, how much of it do I actually deserve from a fair standpoint? Well, I mean, we've been here 56 years.
Right.
And when you hear "And the Beat Goes On," my grandkids should be able to benefit from that just like I did.
Amen to
My
that.
great-grandkids. So that's what we're really talking about. And the main thing, man, as they say, man, everything gets better. What we're speaking on today, this internet, that changed everything. You don't need a record company now.
Mm-mm.
You don't need them the way we needed them. This little box that we're all talking in, it's not domestic anymore. It's worldwide.
Amen.
It'll be all over the world in the next 3 seconds.
Yeah, but that's why that's why we said at the beginning of the show, while we were thanking you guys, y'all thanking us, we thanking you.
Absolutely.
Your platform that you're allowing us to say this to the world, because let's face it, that phone you carry, it controls the world. You do realize that, right?
Amen.
So if it wasn't for y'all, you're talking about thanking us. If it wasn't for y'all, hey partner, I can't say thank you enough.
Well, I got a surprise for you both when we end this a little later, but I'll let Danielle have a question out there too. So Danielle, go ahead.
So with records like "And the Beat Goes On" and "Rocksteady," what do you all think made that such timeless music? You're still singing the same records 56 years later. We're still hearing it. We're still having it in rotation, on the station. Like, what do you think made those records so timeless?
It's like fine wine, baby. Fine wine.
Well, I know, Deville, you want to speak on it? I know. I'll give you my rendition. Go ahead.
I think to me, when you have an infectious beat, if you listen to the beats today that you hear on the radio, and you listen to the whispers, "And the Beat Goes On," "Rocksteady," they are timeless beats. I mean, they're timeless music. And then if you have a quality lyric with the infectious melody, that's the really key thing to any record itself. That's why when you look at even some of the stuff that Frankie Beverly Mays have done, the Delphonics, the Stylistics, the OJs, the Temptation, those songs, when you put them on, it still make you want to shake your booty. I don't care. Now let's
right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
Absolutely.
because of timeless. Sometimes you can hit it, sometimes you don't. But when you get the right chemistry together, and I think what Leon Silvers did with and Babyface did, they gave us, well, that's just a fraction of what they gave us, but they gave us two songs that to me will live long past us. And I'm praying and hoping that they wind up getting redone again by, the new artists that come in. Because I always tell people there's no new music. It's just music just put in a pan or a pot or whatever,
Right.
stirred it, and then they come up with something else. There's no new music. They just revise it, change it a little bit, and then, it winds up being popular again. Now, we won't reap the benefits from the writer's aspect, but the fact that it'll keep our legacy alive, so that people now say, wait a minute, I heard that version. I want to get the Whispers version.
Mhm.
And as long as they buy the revised version of the
Hey,
Hey, period.
That's what we're talking about.
revised version of the Whispers, then the Whispers will benefit 100% instead of the companies that have been benefiting all of these years.
Definitely. No, I agree 1000%. I think it's a certain kind of energy that those records put out there. That's why every audience can hear it. So with some of the new music now, you can't play it everywhere, but with your records, you can play it everywhere, so the whole world can get to experience the Whispers.
You said something that really kind of brought me to. I was having a conversation, or I guess you could say a debate. I don't know what you want to call it, but I was, somebody sent me a message. They were like, well, as far as what your gifts are, and I was like, well, your gifts, not trying to take anybody to church right now, but there's another power outside of that gave you what you got.
You better believe it.
Right.
Yes, sir.
There was a
buddy.
debate because it was, it's evolution, and I always look at it like this: you can evolve, but where does that evolution come from? It's a higher power, whatever you believe in. But also, when you pair yourselves together and you have a distinct way of how you not just sing, but how you go about it and accomplish what you want to accomplish, that is a rarity in itself. And we don't see that much in groups anymore. I know there's a lot of groups getting back together again, which is great. But new groups, we don't see too much of it as there once was. Why do you think that is? Is it because people don't want to work with people like that anymore? Or is it just people don't have the patience because they want instant stardom or something else?
Well, let me give you I'm gonna tell you what I think has. I don't want to use the word hurt because today is a whole nother thing. But when you talk Whispers, OJs, Temps, Frankie, I call what we do, I call it the human element. And the reason why I say it's the human element, drum machines and all this new equipment that they've come up with that's not a human, therein lies the problem as far as I'm concerned. They have a piece of equipment now that you can go in, excuse my friend, you can take a dog in there and make him sound like he's a man. Did you know that?
Yeah.
When you hear Eddie the Vert singing, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear me singing, excuse my friend, that's me. I ain't singing through no box. There's live, the human element is still there. Today, everything is technical. I mean, and that might be good for some of it, but you can't take all of it out. I think when you take the human element out, you lose a whole lot. And I think that's the reason why you see the difference between their music and our music.
Well,
Scotty, it's just like bands. We don't have bands no more.
No,
Pretty
live bands
cool.
like Earth, Wind. Yeah, right.
Well, me and Scotty, we debated this a lot because I think there's an advantage to both of them. I think anything that improves something, that there's a drum machine today that can make you keep time. You don't have to.
Yeah.
We did when And the Beat Goes On. When we made And the Beat Goes On, there was no drum machine. Leon Silvers literally did that. He started from the bass drum, went to the toms, and ended up on the snare. And the song that you hear today was done, as Scotty said, strictly with a human doing it. Well, thank God that there's a drum machine that you don't have to do that. But the key is, what kind of judgment do you have? How much of that new stuff do you want to blend in with the human element? Mm-hmm. Like the word feel. Sometimes a note can be off key, but it feels good.
Right.
Well, now, do you want to, it's like analytics with basketball. Do you want that feel good off note, or do you want it so correct that it's like a robot? Which one do you want?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it depends on how much you combine both of them. And in our case, we started with Leon Silvers, and then we ran into these two young guys, Kenny Edmonds and L.A. Reid. They weren't known as Face in L.A. at the time, but they had these songs that the deal didn't like. In the Mood.
Wow.
The deal wanted to be at that time like Prince. So the songs that Babyface was submitting to the deal, they didn't want to sing.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
So we're down in Atlanta and we meet Face in LA, and they present their songs to us, and the rest is history. You know, we came up, they had In the Mood that the deal didn't want to do. You know,
Really?
and it all came together using a drum machine. Some of it was with Babyface in LA, but it all came together, and in the end, it made two of the biggest hits that we've ever had. You know, so it really depends on, you know, what you're doing. You know, it's the word music, man, is just so extensive. When you do it right, you create something so beautiful, and it lasts forever.
Mm-hmm. And here we are right now doing something I feel is historic in a sense when it comes to the assemblage of your music, making sure that the ownership rights are not just yours, but you're benefiting from the legacy that you have built so many years ago. With Rocksteady being re-released, and I believe it's in December, the end of this month, correct?
Right.
With
The
the re-release of Rocksteady, you're going to introduce yourselves, I guess, in a sense, to a newer fan base as well. Not just your established ones, but also the people out there that's listening to you guys for the very first time, maybe, or they're going to go back like we all have done and go back and listen to or look at some of the classic videos and everything else that you guys have done. When you take this opportunity right now, what do you want these newer fans or people like that really want to take from the legacy that you guys have built so far?
Wow, boy, that's a good one there. Shoot. Well, take from the side. To me, I think when you look at our legacy, you know, and we're hoping that in the future there will be other artists that are going to wind up being in the business for 40, 50 years like us. You know, my thing is just be true to yourself. Be the true artist that you can be. Don't try to be like somebody else, you know, because, you know, there's only one Beyonce, you know, there's only one Jay-Z, there's only one, you know, Bruno Mars. I mean, there's only one of them. Don't try to be like them. If you remember back in the day when you listened to the Temptations, Four Tops, OJs, Delphonics, Stylistics, all of them, when you first heard the first 8 bars, you knew exactly who they were.
Yeah, you knew who they were. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the kind of legacy that when people listen to the Whispers music or they hear the Whispers music, they know, no doubt, that that's the Whispers. And so you want to bring that kind of legacy to your career than more than anything to me. And that's the thing that I'm so proud of, you know, being a Whisper, is that long after I'm gone, my grandkids, my great-grandkids will be able to go back and say, is that grandpa doing that routine like that?
Hey.
You know, they're like, how did you remember all that, grandpa? You know, that to me brings me more joy than anything. And then, you know, hopefully I'll live here long enough where I can introduce them to more of our videos and stuff that we've done. I even have grown folks come to me and say, man, you know, and the 5 of you guys were just incredible, man. I watched your routines, watched what you were doing. Man, you guys were some of the baddest guys. That's what you do this for, you know, so that people, you know, look at you and say, okay, I've done it right. You know, I brought something to the table that when people come and spend their hard-earned money to come and see the Whispers, they can leave out of it and say, I would spend that penny. I'd spend more than that.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what our whole thing is about. And when we can't do that anymore, then we'll be saying it's time to turn the light out.
Yeah, but it's been a good dance. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, no question about it.
When you can say you've won multiple, I'm gonna put it in a sports analogy. When you say you can win multiple championships over a course of many decades, you know, you're doing it clearly for the love of, and not just to, you know, figure it out, but also to make sure that you do establish that legacy. So again, grandkids, great grandkids, next generations beyond could really kind of, see where the blueprints were. And I get that. And Danielle, before you ask a question, I'm going to ask you guys real quick about radio, because here's something that I want to take with this. And I hope you guys, and this is an announcement, and literally I want to shout out B&A Entertainment, because they put all this together, and this is an extraordinary event. But I feel like Danielle and I need to do something for you guys, because radio is very important as well, still to this day.
No question.
To the enhancement of music. So going into the new year of 2023, Danielle, you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
We have a platform called Decades on Nexxlegacy Radio, where we air out a lot of music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But I am going to dedicate multiple weekly hours to the Whispers music. Once you release your catalog, we will put an hour. If there's new updates that you guys want to put out there, you guys will have this platform to do it. You guys will do it. And here's the reason why I'm saying that, because radio, although it's important, we know how radio is in 2022 right now.
Absolutely.
Get lucky if you can get on the mainstream, because there's so much behind the scenes goings on, or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to get on.
Absolutely.
Not here.
Yeah.
As this owner right here can tell you, I own all my stuff. I do what I want to do for the betterment of this business that we have right here. So going forward, starting the first Saturday of January, there will be a Whispers 1 hour mix with any news that you guys want to put out, anything special that you guys want to put. It will be that way every Friday going forward.
Brother, we can't tell you how much we appreciate that, because we're starting on the 2nd of January. We've already done a couple of cuts, but from the 2nd of January throughout the whole year of 23, we're going to be trying to replenish our catalog. So you're going to have something every week. But man, let me thank you, man, because it means so much to us, because you're right. The marketing that goes with a record costs millions of dollars. I mean, you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
And that's not to mention the politics that go into getting stuff played. I'm talking, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So we can't thank you enough. And we're going to be, believe me, pulling it out. We're going to start recording along with touring. We tour every year. Mm-hmm. But we're going in the studio, and we're going to try to get as much done of our catalog as we can, so our public can hear it. And we're doing it the way we do it. Like Lavelle said, we're not trying to be like somebody else. We're doing it the way the Whispers doing it. And you're going to hear something new for us every week.
Well, let me
say Walter, real quick. I saw how the game was played when it comes to radio, and I had to go do something different and go buy a station.
You see what I'm talking about? Yeah.
You see down why we opened up the show, thanking you guys. You guys, we go through this all the time. They use the shows over there. Well, we thank you so much. We got the legendary. We appreciate it. But brother, there's the best example of why you should be saying, we thanking you, not you thanking us. Your platform, like you said, radio is great. We hope they do whatever they're going to do. But it's you and Danielle. Y'all know it. That's where it's going to come from, brother. We can't thank you enough.
Yep.
I believe in this. And Lavelle, I'll let you kind of ponder this as I say it. I think what's missing in music, what's missing in entertainment, what's missing, period, is the understanding that people need people. I can't do this by myself. You guys can't do it by yourself. Danielle, you and I know we can't do this by ourselves.
Right.
We need you guys too. So don't forget that.
Oh man, believe me,
brother, you won't have to worry.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because I mean we are what they consider an old school group, but we still, would relish working with some of the new artists, because we feel like we could bring a lot to their table as well. So, until we're, I guess you'd say take the dirt nap, I always say, until that happens, we feel like we could still contribute a lot. We would love to work with people like Bruno Mars or Snoop Dogg, having to do something on one of our songs and stuff like that. So we're open to that kind of thing, because we feel like we like Walter said in the last interview, these two brothers sang at the same key that they sang when they were 19 years old.
That's
So
amazing.
it stops there. You know, when you listen to the new stuff, the revised version, you'll be able to hear it. And, you know, for me, I have to listen to it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, which one is that? Because that's how they are. I'm kind of favorite to the new one because to me it's even better because the music, you know, and the instruments are better. But, you know, we would love to, you know, our door is wide open to working with anybody, you know, and being able to educate them and pay back what we've actually been able to benefit.
Absolutely.
You know, be 56 years in the benefit, I mean, business, it came nowhere else, not from a Grammy, not from American Music Award or a BET Award. It came from Black people keeping us alive.
Absolutely. No question about it. That's why we're still here.
Well, you
no
said
question about it.
You said it. You leaned into it when you called it a higher power. We know what it is. The man upstairs.
Yes.
My mother used to tell me and him, "Don't think it's you." That's what she would always say to us. She would tell us while I'm on my knees, and this is what she would say while y'all out there hooping and hollering. She said, "I'm on my knees. I'm on my knees." Yeah. So we understand that, brother. Right. Yeah, we understand it.
Danielle, you have a question?
I do. It's funny because Lavelle actually answered part of it. I was gonna ask, you know, what artists would you want to work with? So Lavelle asked. So, Walter and Scotty, what artists that are playing on the radio now would you want to collaborate with? Like, what is in your playlist? What is in your Pandora, Spotify?
Well, let me say this. Walt, there's somebody, if he's listening, I don't know if he's listening, but you're gonna be surprised at the name I'm getting ready to call. But the reason why I'm calling this name because we've already worked up something for Snoop Dogg. We have already done something, and Snoop, if you're listening, just call B&A, brother, and you're gonna be happy because this is tailor-made for you and the Whispers.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love it.
You know, it's so funny. You know, probably I hope I don't get killed by saying this. There was an artist that we would have loved to work with. Now we probably never get a chance to work with him because he's probably
you just took it away from me. Yeah,
never going to see the day of light. But a genius in itself, and you guys probably know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, Mr. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Yeah.
He did some bad things.
Yeah.
Music, yeah. But you know what? R. Kelly was one of the most brilliant and is one of the most brilliant producers that ever lived.
I agree.
I mean, you know, did he do some bad things? I'll be the first to admit, no question about it. But you know what? You guys understand this. Artistry, man, music makes the world go round. And there's different kinds of music that make people be who they are. And R. Kelly is one of those guys that has influenced, in my opinion, his music has influenced the world. So, I mean, I would hope one day I'd go up in the cell with him just to record because I just think that he's that brilliant. And maybe one day we'll get to do that. But hey, who knows?
There's a lot of people out there that has fell from grace. You know, nobody's not going to judge anybody. Anybody that do what they do, it's, you know, bless. Hey, what can you say? But if you take that element out of it and you just really just solely focus on music, he's a damn genius.
No question.
There's no question
No
about
question about it.
Just the music. Yes, absolutely.
No question. That's my focus 100% because what he did was not smart and was not good. But and not take that man's genius in terms of music, and it's affected a lot of people. His music has done wonders for people, you know, and so, you know, I hope someday he can even record from there and get it out because he still has a lot to, you know, to give, but it's not my right to judge what he's done, you know, because, you know, they say people live in glass houses, don't throw stones. So.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. You can go over to the legendarywhispers.com. That is the website. Go now, go often, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell everybody. Who cares? Just tell everybody. Represent. I got two quick questions before we let you guys go. One is fashion. I was talking to my man Lavelle before we even started this, and we were talking about how fly you guys were. And I feel like when you go backwards in time and you think about fashion and music, they're kind of all integrated, right? So I feel personally, you guys can still get away with the suits, walking down the streets, stepping. That is still classic to me. Everybody can remake it and redo it, but they can't do it like the Whispers, though. So when you think about fashion, though, what are some of the decades that you remember oh so fondly about when it comes to clothes? And then if you did or if you do, what would you want to bring back? I mean, there's a lot of butterfly collars from the 70s. I would love to bring back right now in 2022, though. But
you know what was the most beautiful part about the generation that we came from? You know, there was an abundance of stand-up vocal groups. I'm talking about the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Shy-Lights, and the competition was so keen, man. You know, and the one word that you just said that meant everything is dress. How well are you dressed? Because when we came up, the whole idea that we were trying to portray is that the people that paid their money to come see us, we want them to say to themselves, man, these brothers, hey, man, we mean enough to them for them to get dressed up and come do what they do. That's where we come from. And we're still like that. If you come to our show today, you're going to see us sharp as we can be. I don't make no bones about it. We want to be dressed up. We want you to know that we think enough of you to do that. You know, however, and today, the young people, I love them. They do what they do. You know, now my grandkids is just the opposite. They try to look as bad as they can look. And I tell them all the time, we're trying to look as good as we can look. You know, and I mean, you know what? I understand it. That's what it's all about. You do what you do, but hey, if you come see the Whispers, you're gonna see three of the sharpest brothers that you ever seen in your life.
What I'm talking about.
Because I want you to know that when we used to be able to say, maybe I can get my clothes out the cleaners, or maybe I can't. But if I can, I'm gonna be sharp. That's the generation that we come from, my brother.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'd say from 80 to 89, I think we were probably, I mean, we dress like we dress now. I mean, we still dress sharp, but we had a lot of influence. Like I was telling them earlier, you know, what you see on album covers, what you see in videos and stuff like that. You know, we found out a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, starting then in the 80s, beginning of the 80s, when we first put out our first real successful album, we found out that women know what they want to see their men dressed in.
True.
And smart enough to get this young lady who knew how to make us look good and to be able to embrace. She dressed us on just about every album cover that you see, you know, from that point on. And even in our videos, she was there, she dressed us, and we just had to wind up kind of letting go and letting her, you know, because, you know, what you see with, you know, I found a long time ago what I see myself wearing, but what my wife sees me wearing.
It's totally different. Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to please her.
You got to be able to let go. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to let go. And I found out that women know what they want to see men in and what makes them look. We were probably the first group that when, even in our uniforms, you know, everybody has the same uniform on. It's one color, same style. But we found out later on, we were like, wait a minute, you know, we have some tall guys, we have some short guys, we have a medium guy.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be in the same style of outfit. Mm-hmm. They can be, but they can be in the same colors, or maybe two different colors that relate to the other one. And we were probably the first group that ever did that. My style, what I had on me, what Walter and Scotty had on, or what Marcus had on, Nick had on, were all 5 different outfits. But they were, you know, color coordinated, I guess you would say.
Very true.
That ever did that kind of stuff. And that was because of a woman.
Hey, look at that! Look at that hat Scotty has on right now. I love that hat, man.
You know what? And so it's amazing. This hat's probably older than you are. But you know what? Lavelle just said something that you just reminded me of something, Lavelle. We have to say thankful to. We lost Marcus in 2000,
That's
And we
right.
lost Nick in 2016, and we want to say thank you. I know them brothers are looking at us, and they listen to us right now. God bless both of them. They saying thank you just like we are, brother.
Absolutely.
I already know it. I already know it. The strength of what the whispers are and the fallen comrades are literally, I feel it. I feel it in your energy. And that's what I mean when I say going backwards before we finalize this is it's not just based off your talent. It's other powers. And like I said, everybody has different, who they pray to or whatnot. But this is different. When you combine, again, it's just like, you meet your soulmate or whatnot. You may have been married 3 or 4 different times, but it's that one. That one.
You're right.
That one is that one.
Yeah,
just
man.
saying. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah,
No
well,
question, boy.
you're right about that.
Yeah.
And I'm here sitting in Hawaii with my soulmate celebrating our.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's
yeah,
right.
he just let us know that. We just found it out today.
Yeah.
Piper in Hawaii.
Yeah. Funny, my wife is in the industry too.
That's what I'm talking about. Final one before I let you fellas go. Navigating through social media. I know everything's Twitter, Instagram, everything is different again, and I will shout it out as well. The legendary whispers.com is a website, direct traffic, all kinds of traffic going to there. But how you guys dealing with social media these days in this day and age?
Well, that guy in the corner right there that just finished talking, Lavelle agree. He does most of it. Well, we're on all the platforms, but I got to be honest with you. Me and Scotty, we're typical. We're not big, we're not big computer guys. If it wasn't for my wife, I don't know if I could exist. You know what I'm saying? But we do the best that we can. Believe me, boy.
But the people that got you, Miss Willette Ballard, she's the one that really does.
Thank God, man.
When you say platform, I'm trying to figure out if I could even spell plat. I don't know about it. But so, hey, it is what it is, my brother.
I always laugh at them because they don't even have an email address. So I can't.
No, we don't know.
Who is he?
Yes, Scotty asked me, who is the mail?
Who is he? Is that Edward?
And I make them go.
Hey, I get it. Hey, listen. Thank God for Lavelle though, but Walter and Scotty, I get it too. So I understand.
We try the best we can, but I ain't gonna tell no lie. Hey, believe me, it's a whole new day, brother. Believe me.
Amen to that. Danielle, go ahead and say what you need to say before we let these fellas go. So final thoughts, Danielle, go for it.
Final thoughts is just thank you. This has been so amazing. It's always beautiful when we're able to think people that we've been listening to forever.
Yeah,
you can't go into a restaurant here. You can't go into an old school party without hearing the music. So to be able to say thank you publicly, like BK said, you're in rotation with us all the time. So it's really, really been a blessing to be able to hear you guys and see you guys and be able to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And let me close by saying, once again, thank you. Once again, everybody that's listening will be listening. Make sure you go to the legendarywhispers.com. Once you go there, you'll be able to see all social media action, everything that is everything. But fellas, thank you. Not just for that. Let's just keep it on the low. You guys helped me out in my relationships through the 80s with a lot of your hits. Just saying.
Hey guys, once again, thank both of you, man. We don't take this for granted. We appreciate it with all our heart, and happy holidays to both of you.
God bless you.
Same to you all, and I'm in your families, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And again, I'm looking forward to having a nice music mix of the Whispers on Nexxlegacy Radio in 2023 until forever. Just saying.
Thank you, brother.
You got it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you all. Blessings to you. Happy holidays.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stop it.
Yeah. Oh, they're good people.
You're still recording?
People. Yeah, I know.
Okay. But no.
They're good people. People. Moments like this is just, hey.
Epic.
Yeah, they're fucking icons. And I know I was literally like, I know it was supposed to be like a 20 to 45-minute interview, so I got about just right.
I
at
know.
45.
I was like, what's our limit?
Right at 45. So I was like,
Right
all
at 45. Perfect.
But hey,
And it
so
was
I
so
got the
funny because
Jets
when
and
you
I
let
got
up-
the Whispers. I got the Jets and the Whispers on decades. Come on. I'm going through the I got 70s with the Whispers. I got 80s with the Jets. Watch. I'm working on 90s and 2000s. I might go back and reach out to the homie Case for the 90s though.
Yes.
I might, because he's accessible, so I might have to grab him.
We need to interview with Case anyways.
Yeah. But and then 2000s, it's free for all. I don't know who, but we'll figure it out. But Lord have mercy. Hey, the Whispers. I'm telling you, Danielle, I'm not stopping. I'm pulling back as much as I can. You ain't seen shit yet. We're about to go bananas.
I already know. I already know.
So
and now you finally get to learn how to use StreamYard after I've been trying to tell you for how long.
Yeah. Nah, this is a win-win. So I'm all over it. I'm gonna end this though. But